We spend our youth believing that wisdom comes bound in volumes, that the great truths wait for us between covers, that somewhere in all those words lies the secret formula for living well. We memorize the philosophers, underline the poets, copy out the wise sayings into notebooks we never read again. The books pile up on our shelves, and we feel educated, prepared, armed for life's battles with our arsenal of borrowed thoughts. But then we step outside, and the first person we try to impress with our learning looks at us with the blank stare reserved for the overeducated and underlived. We quote Seneca on Stoicism while falling apart over a delayed train. We cite Aristotle on friendship while sitting alone at night, scrolling through contacts we haven't called in months. The gap between what we know and what we can actually do becomes a chasm we try to bridge with more books, more theories, and more clever quotations that sound profound in our heads, but fall flat when spoken aloud to real people living real problems. Time, however, teaches differently. It doesn't lecture or assign homework or give you a syllabus to follow. Instead, it simply presents you with the same lesson over and over until you finally learn it, not in your mind, but in your bones. You learn that love isn't the romantic comedy you memorized from novels, but the daily choice to stay when staying becomes difficult. You discover that courage isn't the battlefield heroics described by historians, but the decision to make that phone call you've been avoiding for weeks. Disappointment becomes your teacher in ways that no philosophy professor ever could, showing you exactly how much you can bend before breaking, exactly what you thought you needed versus what you actually need. We find ourselves laughing at our younger selves who believed that reading about heartbreak would prepare us for heartbreak, that studying theories of grief would somehow make grief manageable. The books told us what these experiences might look like from the outside, but they couldn't tell us how they would feel from the inside, how they would change not just our thoughts, but our walk, our sleep, and the way we see other people's faces on the street. Have you noticed how the most important lessons never come when you're looking for them? You can spend years reading self-help books about confidence, but real confidence arrives one day when you finally speak up because you forgot to be afraid. You can study relationship advice until you could teach a course on communication, but you only learn how to actually listen when someone you love starts crying, and all your clever techniques become useless, and you're left with nothing but the choice to be present or not. We discover that timing isn't something you can master through study, but something that reveals itself through repetition, through making the same mistakes until the pattern becomes obvious, through missing opportunities until we recognize them approaching. The books never mention how much of wisdom is simply pattern recognition, how much of growth happens not through dramatic revelation, but through the slow accumulation of small moments when we choose differently than we did before. Why do you think we keep buying books about living when life is teaching us for free every day? Perhaps because the books promise shortcuts, neat formulas, clear steps from problem to solution. But time teaches us that most of life happens between the steps, in the waiting periods that no book ever mentions, in the long stretches when nothing seems to be happening, but everything is actually changing. We learn patience not from reading about patience, but from sitting in waiting rooms, from watching other people get promoted while we stay where we are, from loving people who take years to love us back. We learn resilience, not from inspirational quotes, but from getting up each morning after the worst thing happens, from discovering that we can survive Monday after terrible Sunday, that our capacity for continuing surprises even us.